Good morning, everybody. My name's Dave Lynch. I'm the city manager for the city of Newton Falls, Ohio, and welcome to another morning briefing, our edition of what's going on in the local area regarding the COVID-19. We want you to pay attention to what the state says and the governor, and of course the president and his task force. But things are unique in our own community as well. And during this crisis, we want you to have information that is especially relevant to people in the Newton Falls area. That's why we do this program. And one of the things I wanted to get to right away was the fact that we've got to do some things in our town to attack this virus in our own way. And we've given a lot of consideration to a lot of different issues. Well, let me put it this way. One of the most famous masked men in history had a pretty famous radio show and a TV show, and wearing masks was a very important part of that program. Well, being safe in Newton Falls also means wearing masks while you're shopping or if you're a cashier at a store. So let's look at a brief clip of a recent new rendition of the old Lone Ranger.
The lone COVID-19 Ranger.
Have you struck it rich?
I'm rich in knowledge, years, and health.
There's no greater treasure than health.
That's why everyone should wear a barrier mask to stop the virus.
We'll be glad to.
Farewell until tomorrow. Come along, boy. Come along, Horatio.
Tune in next time for another exciting episode of The Lone COVID-19 Ranger.
That's right, folks. The Lone Ranger thought wearing a mask was important so he could fight crime. But here in Newton Falls, you need to wear the mask so you can fight the COVID-19. And so I wanted to mention to you is that in Newton Falls, we're going to be doing something which is a little bit beyond the state orders. And that is, we have issued an order that says that you must wear your mask while you are shopping in any retail store in Newton Falls, or if you're a cashier in Newton Falls in a retail store. And that begins on Friday. And that order was issued by virtue of my own authority as city manager as the de facto director of public safety. Now, so you understand, folks, we've taken this very seriously. I've conferred with the law director, who also serves as our criminal prosecutor, in order to make sure we are standing on solid ground. The purpose of the mask is to stop little molecules, droplets, that expel from your nose and your mouth. In other words, if you wear your mask, you're protecting other people. So that if you go into a store and you say, well, gee, I don't feel like wearing a mask, that's you saying, I don't feel like making sure others are safe. So Newton Falls, we're going to lead the way. Beginning Friday, everyone who goes into a retail store must be wearing a mask, and the cashiers must wear a mask. But to make things even easier for you, the stores will be provided the masks free of charge, and individual citizens that need a mask will be provided a mask free of charge as well. And if you just want us to send you one, contact the city manager's office. The number is 330-872-0806. The mask will protect all of us. 330-872-0806. And on Friday, we'll be beginning to make an even greater difference in Newton Falls to keep everybody safe. And speaking of keeping everybody safe, one of the things we've been very pleased with is the way that our restaurants have organized themselves in a way that the carry-out activity takes place, and yet things are being kept safe. And one of the great, grand old chains of restaurants that's been in Northeast Ohio for a very long time, providing great food, great roast beef sandwiches, and other things now for many years, is the Arby's restaurant chain. And right now I've got on the live line Ron Gallo from the Arby's restaurants of Northeast Ohio. Good morning, Ron. How are you?
Fantastic, Dave. Good morning to you.
Well, it's great to have you on the live line. Ron, how has life changed for the familiar Arby's restaurants under the COVID-19 experience?
Well, Dave, it just changed about 2 minutes ago when
Okay.
you said that all people in Newton Falls are going to be wearing masks. So that pretty much tells you how fast things change.
Sure. Well,
but
what are you
no.
guys doing?
We are doing a ton, Dave. It changes from the CDC, what they're saying, what local officials say. But we are doing everything in our power to protect the health and safety of our guests and our team members, during this crisis. So, from an operations standpoint, we're right with you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to Worcester Friday to pick up a couple of hundred masks for all my stores, not only Newton Falls stores. So we're going to have all different kinds of personal protective equipment for us and for our guests.
Well, that's outstanding. The Arby's restaurant in Newton Falls is right on Broad Street, and it's kind of a focal point for our community. And I was wondering, how is the COVID-19 affecting the family members of those folks that work at the Arby's? Do you guys keep in contact with your employees to make sure that things are safe and healthy for them as well?
Oh, absolutely we do, Dave. We have wellness checks, actually, we do for every employee when they walk in. We ask them 4 separate questions. If they answer negative to any of those, if they would have a fever or a cough or sore throat, then they just go home, Dave, because, we would rather, have a little bit slower service for the folks in Newton Falls and just to make sure that we're safe. So we're constantly doing that. Anyone who's uncomfortable even being out, because there are some people are just uncomfortable with being out during this COVID-19, we're letting them just stay home if they need to be until this crisis is over.
Well, that's outstanding. Another thing that I noticed, Ron, is that you can go through that drive-thru and be safe, but Arby's is under conditions of social distancing. You're allowing people to walk into the lobby and order something as long as they can get in and get out. Is that a fair way of putting it?
We are not doing that, Dave.
Oh,
We are
okay.
drive-through only right now.
Drive-through only. Okay, I'm glad I asked the question.
Well, that's going to change soon, too. As the governor would allow that, we are allowed to do that right now.
Yeah.
The state is not mandating that we don't have carry-out. But right now, for the safety of our team members, also, we are not doing carry-out. That could change next week. We as things progress, and hopefully we get through this. But yeah, we have I can't remember how many pages, like an 86-page plan on how to reopen our restaurant.
Goodness.
Because there's got to be so many things that need to be done. Obviously starting just a deep cleaning of the whole restaurant and sanitizing, just to make sure we're going to start off on some good footing.
Sure. Ron, you've got so many restaurants under your particular jurisdiction. How is this affecting you personally and your family?
Well, right now I've got a 6-year-old sleeping on the couch. I'm staying home a little bit more than normal.
Yeah.
It is challenging because it's a lot of stress to deal with the team members. They've got the worries that we all do, of being infected with this. So we're trying to look out for everybody, and I'm just as worried as you are on the other side. It's been a challenge.
Well, before we adjourn this interview, Ron, it would be wrong for me not to ask a question that's on everyone's mind. It has been for years. What is the secret magic in those curly fries that makes them so delicious?
Well, Dave, if I told you, I'd have to come out there and if I really can't tell you, or I would get hurt. I don't want Arby's, coming after me. So that's going to have to remain a secret right now.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking some time with us, and thanks for keeping us safe. It'd be very easy to willy-nilly just go about your business, but you certainly have exercised a very high degree of responsibility so we can get the great food at Arby's and maintain our great health. Ron, thanks so much. You have a great day today.
You too. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, that was Ron Gallo, and Ron is with the Arby's restaurants, really one of the centerpiece eating establishments in Newton Falls. And by the way, they always associate Arby's with roast beef sandwiches, but it's also turned into a little bit of a gathering place. You can go there and get a cup of coffee and just sit there with your friends. So Arby's really is a family kind of place, and we appreciate everything they're doing. Well, folks, I mentioned that we've got to wear the mask, and it's going to be a mandatory order in Newton Falls on Friday of the wearing of the masks. But we've got some new programs coming down the pike, and very briefly, someone who's going to introduce one of these new programs is the 3rd Ward Councilman, Lyle Waddell. And very briefly, he's going to tell us about this new program, which is exciting to come down the pike during the COVID-19.
Hello.
I think we've got a live line. Councilman Lyle Waddell. Good morning, Lyle. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Lynch. How are you today?
Great. Thanks for coming on the briefing. It has come to my attention in the city manager's office that you have a very exciting program which may be available to us related to other things that are happening during this COVID-19 crisis. Can you tell us about this new program?
Yeah, I'd like to. During World Wars I and II, gardens were planted at people's residences.
Well, I don't remember that. That's all. That's long before I was around.
Well, the government encouraged people to
Sure.
To plant gardens.
Yeah.
Not only to supplement their food rations,
Yeah.
but also to boost morale.
Yeah, they called
And
them
these were-
victory gardens, I think they were called.
They were called war gardens or victory gardens, right?
Right.
And as a result, the gardeners could feel empowered by growing some of their own food.
Sure.
So, with many of the residents staying home right now or out of work and children out of school, due to the coronavirus, I've been asked by some of the residents in my ward if they could plant what is now called a community garden somewhere in the ward to grow vegetables or herbs or flowers and that.
Sure.
And I think this would help many grow fresh vegetables that they may not be able to buy. And I think it would also give children who might have never grown a plant or in Scouting or Girl Scouts or something the opportunity to grow some of their own food. And having a community garden should help people get outside, and you can still practice safe social distancing by doing this.
And where are these community gardens going to be located?
Well, I think the first one's going to be over in the 3rd Ward. I own some property in the 3rd Ward, and I'm donating the property to the village. We can use that for a community garden. My wife and I, my wife has just thousands of flower seeds, and we'd be able to plant flowers around the gardens. And then my wife and I have always had a garden here. This year, we're going to venture into raised beds and giant pumpkins.
Sure.
I think we're really excited about being able to work with our residents to make this community garden a success. Now, having said that, I would like this garden, the first one here, to be available to the residents in the 3rd Ward, since they're the ones that contacted me. But
Sure.
having said that, if residents in other wards are interested in putting in a community garden, and they can find a place to put it, I'd be willing to work with them, with these residents and their council people to get it started, because the village owns many, many properties throughout the village. So finding a place to put a garden, really, I don't think would be a problem. With the weather like it is, I can't really get in there to rototill it, but I will be rototilling and fertilizing the first garden
Sure.
as soon as it dries up. And the lady who's going to head this project up, she's getting ready to put a flyer out.
Yeah.
And as soon as the flyer gets out, we'll get it posted.
Well, let's
In the
get some
meantime, if you have any
details from you.
questions-
Yeah, go ahead. I have your number on the screen right now.
Good. Yeah. If you have any questions, give me a call, and I'll try to get the information to you as best I have it.
Yeah, 330-553-0103. Call Councilman Lyle Waddell, and he'll tell you about this exciting idea of a community garden, our own answer to the Victory Gardens, as we go through the COVID-19 crisis. And Councilman Waddell, it's great because people have a way to sort of contribute to the community in general by doing this gardening. They don't have to go out and acquire any new piece of real estate because you're donating that real estate. And that real estate is somewhere off of Milton, as I recall. Is that correct?
Well, it'll probably be up in the East River Gardens
Yeah,
area where,
that's what I
people
mean.
live up in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And it doesn't matter whether you like vegetables or flowers. You don't care. Is that right?
No, as long as it's legal.
Okay. Well, we're hoping that's the case, right? Well, that's outstanding. Well, Councilman Waddell, congratulations on this new community garden concept. And I have a feeling you are lighting the fire of a lot of exciting community garden activity. Get your hose and your shovels ready. Get your seeds ready. I'm the kind of person that can't do it from a seed, so I always have to start with those little starter plants in order to get things going. And unfortunately, usually they die once my, I say I have a green thumb, but it's kind of a black thumb. It kills anything it touches. But the folks in Newton Falls, I know, will embrace that program. And that brings us to the end of another Newton Falls COVID-19 morning briefing. Remember, folks, these cloth masks act as a barrier to protect others. The City of Newton Falls will give you a mask if you need one. Just ask. It's 330-872-0806 to contact the city manager's office. But remember, as of Friday, if you're shopping in Newton Falls, you've got to be wearing this mask. Or if you're a cashier at a retail establishment, it will keep us safer. And as I generally refer to, make sure your prayers are going up to the good Lord to keep our families safe, not just through the COVID-19, but any other concerns that we have. Our Heavenly Father will listen to us if we stay in touch with Him through prayer. And as I say at the conclusion of every single one of these broadcasts, God bless America, and God bless the city of Newton Falls.